One of the bigger pieces of sports media news this week was that settlement in the lawsuit between the NBA and Warner Brothers Discovery. Kind of roped in ESPN there and when all was said and done. Somebody who's been following that story extremely closely, our NBA writer, Tom Friend. Tom, thanks for joining the pod to talk about it.
Great to be here.
Tom, as a lawyer, I got to say, everyone saw a settlement coming. I figured this was going to be a settlement, but this is kind of one of those rare settlements where I was like, wow, like everyone seemed like they got a little bit of what they wanted, like really a win for all sides. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that down deep, WBD wanted to have a fourth package, right? They wanted to have a package that would keep live basketball on Turner, but there was no way that was going to happen because that would lessen what NBC and Amazon had. So they had to come up with some settlement if this was going to get done. Now, would it be just financial? I thought it was going to be a financial settlement, billions, $1 billion here or some sort of number, millions of dollars, whatever you want to say. But they were able to carve out a way for inside the NBA, obviously, to continue with ESPN and then also have NBA IP that could make Bleacher Report and House of Highlights relevant. In other words, near live, they can go to have whip-arounds on House of Highlights. They can have Bleacher Report have NBA content. So now they stay in play as a relevant place. They could build their show inside sports where Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and Charles can have a show that's not inside the NBA. And in the meantime, reprise inside the NBA on ESPN on, big dates like NBA playoffs, NBA finals, Christmas Day, and some ABC games after January 1st. So really for TNT, this is a win. You could tell by the tone of their voices when this happened. They were really excited about it.
But did the ESPN port surprise you? Did ESPN being so intimately involved in the settlement?
I knew that ESPN wanted inside the NBA. They've always been big fans of it. But so did Amazon, and so did NBC. I know they wanted it badly. But Amazon's modeled its Thursday Night Football pregame show and that studio show after Inside the NBA. They're big fans. So I thought it was going to be a bidding war. So for ESPN to get this coup for merely just trading Big 12 football and men's basketball games that were basically pegged for ESPN Plus is like the steal of the century. So, ESPN becomes a bigger player. And the other reason behind it is they've shown that they went out and independently packaged, the McAfee show, was independently produced, okay, not by ESPN. They're willing to do this with Inside the NBA where the producers at Turner will still produce it. It'll be still their editorial say, and that continues. So it's a win-win for ESPN.
Well, Tom, what else surprised you? You call it the steal of the century for ESPN. Turner gets to keep the digital properties. Anything else stand out to you?
It's not long-term, right? We don't know how long Ernie's going to do this show, inside the NBA. You don't know how long Kenny and Shaq, and Shaq's contract is up. So how long this goes for, it's open-ended. So that's what surprised me a little bit. Like there's no number attached to it. As far as the Bleacher Report, House of Highlights thing, that's 11 years. So they get 11 years, the full 11-year run that this media rights deal is. But the surprise to me is really that this happened to begin with. I just thought that it would more be a bidding war, like I said, between Amazon, NBC, and ESPN for this show. And now the other surprise is what happens to Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah, his contract's up.
Yeah, will they mix him in with Inside the NBA? I doubt it because that's a dynamic that's not there. Inside the NBA, what makes it special is the former players with huge personalities. And Stephen A., no offense, is not a former player unless you count, Winston-Salem State wherever he played. But I just feel like this is really interesting.
And you don't think Stephen A. is going to want to be on the B team?
He's not going to. No such thing for him, B team. He's not going to take that. But, they're still going to have NBA Countdown. They'll still have NBA Today. So there's two other entities at ESPN that's not changing. They will still have their show. Inside the NBA is an ABC-centric show. It will mostly be on ABC when they're broadcasting games and so forth. The other shows will mostly be on ESPN. So it's sort of network-specific, basically.
Well, Tom, you've been all over the story since the start. We know you're going to continue to monitor any developments there. Tom Friend, SBJ's NBA beat writer, thanks for coming on the pod.
You bet.